MHU on three. 1, 2, 3.
MHU. Hi everybody, Stuart Jolley along with head coach Tim Clifton. Glad to have you tuned our way and logged on to watch the Lions Coaches Show this Monday night. Coach, long trip down. Felt a whole lot better coming back though, because the Mountain Lions pick up a 34-21 win there at UNC Pembroke.
It was a long trip. You get to Charlotte and you can't get through.
There you go.
But it was a long trip, but I thought we did a great job of coming out and playing after a road trip like that. And anytime you win, it's a lot better coming home.
Mountain Lions were one of only 4 league teams that posted a win last weekend, which I thought spoke well for our program. Offensively, the highlights: Austin Brown went 21 of 34 for 268 yards and 3 touchdowns for the Mountain Lions. Rushed 7 times for 54 yards and 1 score. He averaged 7.7 yards a carry. Tyler Ferguson, he was on the receiving end of 2 of those TD passes. Finished the day with 5 receptions for 109 yards. Chris Roberts carried the ball 24 times for 98 yards, and Craig Rucker 9 passes for 96 yards. So a good kind of balance there for the Mountain Lion offense.
Yeah, I thought we were able to spread the ball around, and I thought Austin did a good job getting the ball to the guys that were open, and then he did a good job. We put in a little read play for him, and he did a good job of reading the tackle and then getting vertical and made a couple of really good runs. And I thought Chris Roberts did a good job, especially on the last drive when we needed to run the clock down and score a touchdown. And we had a couple of big plays in there. Rucker had a big play on a sweep play, a little jet sweep to get us to first down. And we were able just to milk the clock. And because we could run the football, we were able to milk the clock. And we ran a little naked bootleg there and picked up a first down. And I thought Craig did a great job. He had a chance to maybe pick up some more yardage but get knocked out of bounds. But he slid and let the clock continue to run. So, and I thought that drive was impressive. I thought the one right before half where we were working on our 1 minute, or a 2-minute drill there, and we caught the ball and got out of bounds several times and then got down and scored right before half.
Defensively, also, and we'll talk about that as we break down the first half and second half, but good standing by the Mountain Lions. Chris Ferdinand led the defense with 7 tackles, 6 of those were solo, 1 sack, 3 tackles for loss, 1 interception. Josh Dawkins comes in with 8 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. Carl Robert Joe comes in, 8 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1 interception, and as a team, the Mountain Lions new season high with 3 interceptions against UNC Pembroke. So that it really kind of stepped up our defensive effort.
Yeah, I thought we did a great job of putting some pressure on them and then forcing them to throw. And I thought that our game plan. I thought our kids really executed the game plan. We gave up two big scores. Other than that, I thought we played it extremely well. And probably the biggest series of the game was the first series. They broke the second play and got down to about the 3-yard line. And we had a goal line stand and we ended up making them kick a field goal. And I thought that was huge. And Ferdinand Chris, he caught a guy and they ran a little toss play and the guy was in open field and 2 yards from the goal line, and Chris made a great tackle and we forced him to kick that field goal. But as you look back, you go, that was a huge series. They only got 3 out of it instead of 7.
Well, that kind of set the tone. We'll break it down by quarters. In the first quarter, 58-yard rush by McKinley Nelson. Down to the Lions' 1-yard line. Marzil, as you said, they're able to hold the Braves. 3 straight, big defensive stances against them. Force them into the field goal. 10:55 into the game, things very quickly. But, I think Pembroke wanted to kind of set the momentum, and the Lion defense says, not so quick here, guys. We're going to hold them for 3. So 6 plays, 58 yards, 2 minutes and 39 seconds. Braves get on the board first. Then 4:55 left in the first period. Brown comes back, and as you said, he connects to Tyler Ferguson on a big 41-yard touchdown pass. The kick's good. Marzil's up now, 7-3. And we work our way toward the end of that first quarter of action. UNC Pembroke, they work their way down. But again, defensively, Mars Hill really steps things up. They block, they block the punt. It rolls into the end zone, and well, you kind of pick it up from there because Cameron gets involved with things.
Yeah, Dawson did a great job of blocking the punt. I mean, it must have hit him in the head because we didn't.
And it rolls the right way because it goes into the end zone.
And he's out for the game.
Yeah.
I've never had a player block a punt and he's out, but he blocked it. The ball rolled.
Go out on a high note.
Yeah, and the ball rolls in the end zones and Cameron dives on it, but he just gave great effort, and that's the third one he's blocked this year. And but the timing was really perfect. I mean, he got. He's here tonight, so he can tell you if he got both hands on it. Looked like he got both hands on it, but he probably doesn't know if he got any hands on it. But it rolled in the end zones, and then we were able to get the score. And anytime you block a punt and score, it really changes the momentum of the game.
Well, and that just kind of tags along to that early, stance against them. And by this time, the Braves have to probably be thinking, my goodness, what's going on here? Because it should have been pretty much a tie ball game at that point, but not so. Mars Hill's up 14-3. We close out quarter number one, and then second quarter, Braves come back again, score early, 14:49 left in the second quarter. They convert on a 31-yard attempt, but again, the defense is big for Mars Hill because they wanted more than that, and the Mars Hill defense says, no, you're going to have to be satisfied with 3.
Yeah, and anytime you can, they push it to the distance that they pushed it, and anytime you can make them settle for 3, you feel like you've won on that side of the ball. And I thought that was huge to put them at that point, to hold them to 3, and it still gave us a little momentum. But you're really proud of the way your defense is playing. You're basically almost through the half, and you've given up 6 points.
So that play was 8 plays, 42 yards, 3 minutes and 14 seconds. It's 14-6. Lions still in front. Then Josh Jones finds Hicks on a 79-yard touchdown pass with 6:02 left in the first half of things. They're able to convert, and now we're knotted up on 14-14 because they punched it in on that 2-point conversion.
Yeah, we blew a coverage, and they came free, and a guy, he made a great throw, and he caught it and got in, and now, you're trying to stop the 2-point play. And we had a great call. We knew what was coming. I mean, we had a great call. We just didn't do as good a job as executing as we did later on in the game, but they were able to get the 2-point conversion. Now you're back in a dogfight. You're back in it. Now you're fighting to get back ahead.
Well, and that's exactly what the Mountain Lions do. Harbison comes down 7 plays, 75-yard drive, 3-yard touchdown pass. He's in the end zone for the score. Brown's true and connects on that pass. It's a 21-14 ball game with 46 seconds to go in the half. 7 plays, 75 yards. Mars Hill, minute and 11 seconds. Probably one of those things you'd like to chew up a little bit more time, but punch it in when you get an opportunity.
Yeah, we made some really good plays, and like I said earlier, we were smart enough that when we caught the football, we got out of bounds. When we had a chance to get more yards, we did, and then got out of bounds. And we worked that drill every day. It's ones against ones. It's 2 minutes left in the game, and we worked at full speed against each other. And I think that's really helped us this year because we've driven down and scored quickly a lot of times this year, and we've held people at the end. And so I think that's been a great drill for us. And we were able to get down there, and Harbison made a great catch. Ball got tipped, and he went up and pulled it down before going out the back of the end zones, and he made a really great catch there.
Braves come back. They try to answer that score. They go 53 yards. They punch it down to the Mars Hill 46-yard line. And then Carl gets involved and says, we just need to be done with things here in the first half of the action. He intercepts the pass for the Mountain Lions, and that's going to be it for the first half of action.
Yeah, Chris Ferdinand did a good job. We got some pressure on him, and as he was scrambling, he tried to make the throw, and Carl was in the right place and was able to go pick it. And you come out of there and you're ahead at halftime, but we squandered a score earlier in the first half and should have had 7 more points. And we should have been up 28, to 14, and instead of 21 to 14. And you felt like you just didn't execute one time in the red zone. We got down there and we scored every time but once, but we should have got that one in too.
Third quarter opened things up, just kind of back and forth on action there. Only one score in the third quarter of play. Lions get 75 yards. Tyler Ferguson reels in a 9-yard pass from Austin Brown with 4:39 left in the third quarter. There's a penalty call. Mars Hill's forced to back up on the PAT. The PAT is no good, so we've got a 27-14 ball game at that time. Things run out at the end of the third quarter, and the Lions look in pretty good shape at that point in time, as long as they can contain the Braves for the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and the penalty was unnecessary. I mean, you can understand a lot of times a holding call or a tackle and you get a face mask by accident, or anything that's physical. But when you make mental mistake like we did on the goal line, and now we're forced to have to back up. And that point is always critical. You never understand that point until all of a sudden the end of the game and it's 6-point lead instead of 7-point lead. Now a touchdown, extra point beats you.
Because that just kind of hangs over you right
at the
very
end. Yeah, it just stays as a coach. You're trying to figure out now, all right, when we score, we'll go for 2. Where are we going to go from here? Those mistakes that drive you crazy, that you don't want to get involved in it, and just like offsides, that kills you. You don't mind making physical mistakes because they'll happen, but when you get a personal foul, those things are mental, and that's not what you want to do. You want to play smarter than that, and what we have to learn from it is that point is very valuable. That 1 point is very valuable. It changes the course of so many college games every weekend. I mean, people will miss an extra point, or one will get blocked, or something of that nature, and you can hear it. That's going to come back to haunt you. That's going to come back to get you, and it can very easily come back.
Well, and were it not for some good stances by the Mountain Lion defense, but the offense also responding in the fourth quarter, it could have really been interesting, because it doesn't take long. Here come the Braves, 10 plays, 91 yards in 4 minutes and 11 seconds. The lead is cut, as you said, to 6. It's now 27-21 Mars Hill, but then Mars Hill does something that I know from a coaching standpoint has to feel good, because you're able to run that clock, and then you also are able to add to the score. We go 11 plays and 70 yards. We've burned 5 minutes and 21 seconds in the process. Rucker comes in, keeps the drive alive, because it was almost to bog down there at 3rd and 4, but at the 11-yard line, Rucker makes things keep going for Mars Hill. Austin Brown dives in from 1 yard out, and Mount Lions adding the lead. It's 34-21.
Yeah, and the one thing that we didn't talk about for a second here is that in the third quarter, we were backed up on a -3 to -6, and we had to punt, and they got great field position. We did a great job of getting the ball out. But because where we were, they were getting great field position. Our defense did a great job of keeping them off the board 2 times in a row. And I think that set it up for us to get to the fourth quarter where we did. But once they hit the screen pass and scored, now it's how you gonna milk the clock and score. And I thought we had some really big plays, and I thought the bootleg where Austin hit Rucker crossing the field was huge, but I thought our offensive line started to take over, and along with Chris Roberts, and I just felt like we really just started to take over, and we were holding the call. Austin was holding the call, looking at the clock, and we were just draining the clock, and I was surprised they only called 1 timeout during that. I thought they'd end up burning all their timeouts, to keep us from milking the clock. And we just kept working on trying to milk it. And I thought off the third and 4. I mean, we took it wide. The ball was in the middle of the field, and the question was, do you try to keep it in the middle of the field, which is easier field goal, or are you going to try to get the first down? And we decided that, hey, we're going to run it wide with Rucker and you know, work to get the first down, and we did.
And that adds the momentum right there. It really does. And if you're the Braves, it's like, oh,
now
gosh, they let that happen.
Yeah, now you're looking at it and you go, I don't know what we need to do, whether we call timeouts or don't call timeout. And then we were able to get it down there, and Chris Roberts got us down there on the next run, and then we were able to sneak it in for a touchdown.
Well, and by doing that, it gives the defense an opportunity to come back on well rested, and they were able to basically control the tempo of the offense of the Braves for the remaining portion of the game, and it ends on a high note from Marzil. Cameron pops up once again. He's gets an interception in the end zone as time expires, and Mountain Lions win 34-21.
Yeah, I thought we did a great job of keeping everything in front of us. We just kept giving them room, but we were going to make sure they caught it in front of us and get them on the ground. And then they were having to use the clock to get down the field. And sometimes you just want to say, well, we need to get up and get it. But we just kept backing up and letting them, catch it in front of us. And then at the end, when they had to throw it, well, we were in great position, Cam was, and made the interception.
Well, you've heard us talk about it. Now it's time for you to watch some of the highlights of the Mountain Lion victory over the UNC Pembroke Braves. Welcome back, Lion football fans. Tanner Fox. You usually see this guy out on the field with football squarely in front of him. And then it's all eyes in the stadium watching him because, well, he's the kicker for the Mountain Lions. And, well, there's nowhere to hide when you're the kicker, is there?
No. Nowhere to hide, man. It's when you go out there, it's as a kicker, you gotta try not to think about stuff like that, but it's definitely in the back of your mind that if you, like, everybody's watching, if you mess up, everybody knows it. If you do good, everybody knows it. So.
Well, and you're a local product. You're a Western North Carolina guy, coming out of Haywood County, the Black Bears of Pisgah.
Sir.
And, of course, you know all about matchups there because there's that other school on the other side of the county called Tuscola. And, well, you've seen some pretty full stands over the years in some real heated competitions. So coming to the college level, not that much different.
No. My junior year, when our rivalry against Tuscola, I had to kick 2 really big field goals, and there were 16,000 fans there. And then my senior year, same thing. I had to kick a field goal and an onside kick in front of like 14 or 15,000. So coming here, it's the next level. There's not as many fans, but I feel like there's more pressure to perform because I'm representing my town here now instead of just being inside the community. I represent Pisgah here, and I like to do my best.
That is good. So you come out of that program, and those of us here in Western Carolina, we know both of those are very storied football programs. You come over here to the Mountain Lions and helping us, be competitive week in and week out. What's besides what you just mentioned, what are some of the biggest changes in terms of prep at the college level versus at the high school level?
Well, the college level, the prep you've got to be a lot faster. In high school, the snap to kick times on field goals were probably 1.35 and you were fine, 1.35 seconds. And here, if you're really over a 1.3, you're going to get blocked. So you got to keep the snap to kick time down, and when you look up and you look at that line, the guys are a whole lot different size out there. So you can't think about that. You can't be afraid. You just got to keep focusing and get the job done.
Those big balls could come in rather quickly and block those, can't
Much
they?
faster.
So, just a curiosity question. How does a young person going through all the various levels of football, from Mighty Mike Midgets, Youth League, to middle school and high school, when did you make that decision? Hey, I want to be a kicker.
Well, I played youth football, and I was a running back, safety, all the normal stuff. And then I played a couple years and got a concussion, and my mom took me out for a couple years because she was scared, which makes sense. So I picked up soccer with my buddies in middle school because they all played on a travel team. So I started playing soccer. Never really lost contact with football. I didn't play football, but I still loved the game. And so going from soccer, my high school coach, my brother kicked his senior year of high school, which would be my sophomore year. And watching him do it, I was like, man, if he can do it, I can do it. So he graduated, and then I went in and kind of tried to figure it out. And I've only been kicking since my junior year of high school. This is only my 4th year kicking, so.
Well, that's a good storyline. It's only going to continue to get better because you're a sophomore, if I remember correctly, here at Mars Hill. You come here to Mars Hill University. Tell us a little bit about campus life. What are you majoring in? What your interests are?
I'm majoring in computer science, so it's like coding and web design and really anything in computers. I'm kind of a nerd, so not many people know that. I like to do puzzles and weird stuff, but I work in the IT department as a work study, trying to get some knowledge and all that. And campus life's good. I enjoy it here. I like the small class. We got small classes, really get to know your teachers, and I enjoy it.
So along those same lines, are you kind of a stat guy too? About, you were talking about, you got 1.3 seconds, and it's this much faster than it was at the high school level. I kind of get an idea that you keep up with the exact, how much you've improved in terms of the split second, so to speak.
Yeah, every time I come off the field for a punt or an extra point, I go find Coach Reese or try to get on someone to get on the headset and figure out what was my time on that. Were they close? Because I don't look at them coming in, so I don't know if I got close to getting blocked or not. I always come off, ask my time. If it's like 1.3 or above, I'm like, oh no, can't do that anymore. If it's a 1.12, 1.2, it's good, and I like to stay right there.
Well, we're glad you're here, and you're glad part of the Mountain Lion program. And if you've not seen this young man out on the field, come on out. He does a great job for Mars Hill University football team. Best of luck to you the rest of the season and rest of the school year. Well, we'll see you back on the field next year too.
All right, appreciate it.
We'll be right back right after this. welcome back to another one of our Mountain Lion Spotlight features and one of our players. And this young man joining me comes from Concord, North Carolina. Dawson Williams, glad to have you part of what we're doing here. Kind of tell everybody about yourself.
Like you said, I'm out of Concord, North Carolina. I'm a freshman here at Mars Hill. On this team, I'm kind of a specialist for like special teams. If it's blocking punts, returning kicks, or just hustling anytime the coach puts me in, I kind of just do whatever they say. I go in and play my hardest for the team. You're
like one of those, I heard you when you said that term specialist, and always in football, I think about that in terms of one of those moldable puzzle pieces that it's going to look like this in one game, it may look like this in another game, and it may look like this in another game. Is that kind of how you feel sometimes?
Yeah, I kind of feel, it all depends on the team we're playing. Sometimes the coach might ask me to get after and get as much return yards as I can, or they might throw me in on the offense at slot and say, we need you to play this position and play this role this game. I feel like I've done a good job this year molding to what they've asked and just being coachable.
And that's, from a coaching standpoint in any sport, that's the best thing you can ask from an athlete is like, hey, be coachable and understand that you need to be coachable. So that's good to hear. How do you end up at Mars Hill University? You're out of Concord, North Carolina. You're not center state, but that's the greater Charlotte area. So you're kind of within striking distance of multiple schools. You did have the good sense to come to the cooler Western North Carolina mountains. Yeah. So what's the backstory on that?
I had offers from a couple schools, but Mars Hill really stuck out to me. The school itself, it just felt like one big, tight family. I felt like the coaches look after the players, and even the teachers and the staff here at Mars Hill, they're all one family. They're looking out and caring for you. And another thing, like it's close to home, but it's not too close, so I thought that was a big part as well.
Some of the hometown folks get to make it up sometimes to see some of the games?
Yeah, my parents come up every weekend or try to come up. I've actually had a couple friends come up sometimes, so that's always nice.
And given hometown proximity to some of the other league schools, they probably get to make some of those games too, hopefully.
Yeah, yes sir, they do.
Makes a big difference there. So you're here at Mars Hill University, freshman, if I remember correctly?
Yes.
So have you already decided which direction you're going to go with your education? Are you still kind of feeling out like, oh, I may do this, we may do this?
Oh yeah, I actually came in with like about 30 credits, so I kind of jumped a couple of my classes already into my major, so I decided I want to do computer science. So that's kind of what I'm going. And like Tanner said earlier, it's a lot of coding and web design, so that's kind of the path I decided to take.
Looking ahead, remaining this season and then next year, following year. I know it's kind of early to be asking about this, but looking ahead to look back, you're with me so far.
Right.
When you leave Mars Hill University as an athlete, as a student athlete, what do you want people to say about you?
That's a tough question because I'd rather people talk more about my character than how I was in the field. Obviously, I want people to say, "Oh, he's a good football player. He did really good here." But I'd rather people say that was a really good man. Like he can take care of himself. He's compassionate and he cares about other people.
And that, sir, is a really good answer. Glad to have you with us. Enjoy being part of this Mars Hill family. We'll be right back right after this.
First Team Sports is the one-stop shop for all your sporting needs. We carry names like Adidas, Russell, Nike, and more. Products you won't find just anywhere and authenticity that can't be topped. Whether it's uniforms or equipment, our in-house sewing and lettering department allows us to accommodate not only the local high schools, but also the surrounding colleges and universities. Call us at 800-821-7106 or find us on the web at firstteamsc.com. First Team Sports, your one-stop shop for all your sporting needs.
Welcome back. Glad to have you part of our live broadcast here this evening. Coach, two great student athletes, just a small part of many that you and this staff have brought in my opinion, very characteristic of the young men that we get the blessing of seeing on this field the various Saturdays throughout the fall.
Yeah, Tanner's done a great job. He took over part of the kick and roll last year as a freshman, and this year as a punter. He's done both. He did a great job Saturday. We did a lot of rugby kicks, and he did a great job. Averaged over 37 yards, and we were able to down it and get the ball in some areas we wanted. And Dawson has is really talented running back kicks. He had a couple against Wingate over there. He's had them in the games. He went through a concussion protocol there for about 3 weeks, but he has blocked 3 punts, and he has a knack for blocking punts, and that's a knack that you can't really teach. Somebody either has it, and but he's really good at whatever Coach Reese tells him to do. He does it exactly like he's supposed to do it, and that's the reason he's getting those block punts, and that's the reason he's breaking out on kickoff returns. But he's a really good receiver too. I mean, he backs Rucker up and Ferguson up, and he's really good at running a football in space. He's a dynamic guy. He can get our whole team fired up, you know, on the sidelines, and but just having those 2 guys, and they both have impeccable character, both of them.
Well, those are the type things that, you know, that spreads amongst the team too.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does. Those are good positives. Looking ahead to Saturday, it's Senior Day. I often ask you, because we've had homecoming, how's that going to look? Well, you know this question's coming. It's Senior Day. From a coaching perspective, you know, you put your heart and soul into these guys for 4 years. Final time out on this field. How tough is that?
Well, you know, you try to tell them when they get here, it's going to be over before you know it. And it's freshmen and sophomores, they don't really listen to it. It doesn't sink in until now. I mean, just like talking with Austin Brown, he said, I can't believe I'm finishing up my last game. You know, it just happens so fast. And the thing, you know, that you want them to do is you want them to most importantly is to get their degree when they leave. But you want them to grow. You want them to grow spiritually. You want them to grow character-wise, and you want them to be able to leave here and take care of their families when they leave, and then you want them to go out and represent Mars Hill, and you know, Dr. Floyd has said many a time, you know, that this world needs our graduates, and he's right on that. They do need our graduates, and we do need to put out good graduates and good students, and people that are going to go into the workforce and be successful. And you know, this is a good group of seniors. They have worked extremely hard for us and been loyal to us. And you know, the thing that it's sort of bittersweet. You know, they've gotten to that point, but now they're gonna leave out of here. You know, and we've seen. This will be our 26th class we've seen leave here. So, and each group that leaves is special. You know, people say, "What's your favorite?" And you know, every group is special. Every group has their characters.
They really do. They have their own personalities.
Yeah,
they really do.
And we've had some characters come through here. You know, that are, and so many of them are doing extremely well now, but. You know, it's the saddest time is what we do is we do a walkthrough on Friday. We do sort of a senior where they go to the end zones, and we'll take a few minutes and talk to the team about what these seniors have meant to this team and what they've meant to Mars Hill University, and then we'll all go line up, and each player will go through and hug them and talk to them, and then you'll see. Every year you see tears. You see tears on both sides. You see guys that are crying, that are leaving, and guys that are crying because they're leaving. You know, so that's the hardest part. Is that Friday afternoon. It really just is tough. It's tough for the players that stay, and it's tough for the ones leaving. It's tough for the coaches. I've even seen our trainers cry. So you know, it's just that's the hardest part of it. And then we have a tradition where on Sunday afternoon we get everybody together, and then we talk about a few things, and then we ask the seniors. We always in Belkin we ask the seniors to get up and we all say bye to them and they leave. And I think that's really an emotional time because it's the last time that those seniors are being Belk, and you know, they've spent 4 years meeting in Belk in preseason on Friday nights, you know, every Friday night. So it's part of their legacy and history when they walk out of that place, that they walk out for the last time with their teammates. Now they walk out a Lion forever. You know, they leave out of here as a Lion forever, and they bleed blue and gold forever. But just walking away from that meeting room with their former teammates is, you know, it's a touching thing.
That's a memory. Punctuation will stay with you for a while. Gonna have our hands full this Saturday. The Newberry Wolves come to town. Todd Knight in his 11th season as coach. They run the spread offense, so it's gonna really be having your hands full. I was looking at some numbers here. If you look at total yardage per game, 340 for them, 439 for us. Passing yardage, they get the nod on that, 187 for us. You know, they've been rushing, and then for us on the passing yardage with 279. So it's going to kind of be a contrast there, it looks like, between the two offenses.
Yeah, I think they have a real strong run game, and I think they're powerful up front, but they give you issues with their quarterbackers. It doesn't matter who they put in there can run. Whoever's at quarterback, no place ever got. They can run the football. So if you get them covered, all of a sudden here comes the quarterback running. So I think that's a big issue for us. I think they got, to me, and as a staff, you know, you meet and you talk, and they got unbelievable talent. They really do. They've got some players. I mean, they've got. I'm not sure we have lined up against since ETSU, and maybe, you know, they'll line up with personnel that is second to none in this league for sure. I mean, they got some personnel, and
being where they are in South Carolina,
yeah,
that's certainly a hotbed of high school football.
And as Coach Odom at Tusculum would say, they got some dudes, and he's right. You know, we got ready to play. He said, "Rutgers a dude, you know, your quarterback." But they got some dudes, and he's right. They do. They have some dudes.
Looks like on third down conversions, you and I have talked about that. I think every coach's show. Season-wise, we're 55 of 134, which is 41%. And then we've talked, we'd really like to be over 50, but we're 41%. They're 36 of 126, 29%. Looking at their stats last game, our stats last game, neither squad was where they really wanted to be in terms of that. So, what is that one of the focuses this year going into?
Yeah, I mean, every game you're trying to work on third down. We do down distance situations in practice, and we get them continuously. We weren't very good Saturday on third down on offense, but our defense was real good on third down. They were 3 of 15, which is really good if you're on the defensive side of the ball. We didn't perform on third down like we have most of the year on Saturday, and we've seen to be pretty good on fourth down. You know, if we get in a fourth and medium, we're pretty good on fourth down. But third down is something that you work on every week, and it's something you work on during spring practice. I mean, you're trying to put pressure on the defense to get off the field and the offense to stay on the field, and that's what you're trying to teach in third down situations in practice.
You looked at the timing breakdown in terms of time of possession for last week's game, and there was like less than a minute difference in terms of the amount of time they had the ball, the amount of time we had the ball.
Yeah, and they do a good job of possessing the ball. They throw a lot of short routes in the flat and underneath routes, and they're just trying to control the ball and run it and throw the short game. And our goal is always try to control the clock, but sometimes you got some guys that if you get it to them next thing you know, they're in the end zone. So, just like Saturday, I would have, we'd have personally liked to got, 3-4 minutes back off that clock and left them with nothing, But, we were able to get first downs. We were able to do some things that you want to do and stay in bounds and milk the clock. And I thought it was really good for our offense to go through a process where we were milking the clock and we were just working on getting the clock down where when they got the ball back, 2 scores were going to be out of reach. And then I thought our defense did extremely well, keeping the ball in front of them and then getting the pick at the end.
And those are the type things, if they can repeat on that and build on that, looks like against the Wolves, then it's going to be a good afternoon for the Mountain Lions.
Yeah, I just, like I told the guys on Sunday, as we went over the previous game, then getting ready for Newberry, they're just very talented and very physical. We'll have to bring some, they're going to bring physicality, that's for sure. And we're going to have to be physical also.
Looking back, last time we played them, Newberry scored 21 of their 28 points off of some of our miscues. So I know that's probably been one of those things you're like, hold on to the ball, control the clock, and we'll be okay.
They're so good on defense. You gotta protect the football. I mean, they're really, really good on defense, and you gotta protect the ball. And they're good at forcing you to do some things you don't want to do. And then on offense, they got a lot of team speed, and they put the ball on grass, and you got to run them down. And last week, they were phenomenal against Catawba. I mean, that was...
They've got dudes.
Oh, they got dudes, and they got after it against Catawba. I was, you look at that and you say, man, that's pretty salty if you can do what they did.
As a team, this is one of the series that goes back a while, back to the old District 26 days, the NAIA. Marshall leads the series 30-16. First meeting was back in 1969. Last time we came out with a victory was 2015. Of course, last year, Newberry with those big 28 points against Marzell. So we can guarantee you it's going to be an exciting game here on Saturday afternoon. It will be senior day, so come out and be ready to send those young men off in style. And we thank you for being part of this Mountain Lion Coaches Show. We'll talk to you later on about the conclusion of the season. For head coach Tim Clifton, I'm Stuart Jolley. Have a good week, everybody.
MHU on 3, 1, 2, 3.
MHU!